So, there's something that I want to talk about, and that is the fact that I am severely depressed. And I've been severely depressed my whole life, and it hasn't really gotten better. And I've been to see multiple different psychiatrists across the course of my whole entire life, starting at like 6 or 7 years old. And at the time, I really resented the fact that I was being put on medication because it was sending me the message that there was something wrong with me, that there was something wrong with my brain or my personality that needed to be changed so that my parents would like me more. And I expressed that to them, and still I was put on meds. But when I started therapy with a certain therapist when I was 24, and I saw her until maybe like 6 months ago, she said to me that my depression seems like it's chemical and rather than environmental, caused by current environmental factors. And when I think about that, I'm like, okay, well, if it's chemical, then why have no meds ever helped me? Why have I been on multiple different cocktails of like medication in my adolescence and my adulthood, and why haven't they done anything? Um, and like, I want the depression to be chemical because then that means that if I get the right chemicals, then it will be lifted, it will be fixed. But I can't help but feel like the reason I'm depressed is chemical, but it's not entirely. It's like I'm depressed because I went through environmental factors. I went through trauma when I was younger, and I went through trauma in the past. I honestly have still been going through traumatic events as an adult. I think because people can smell it on you that like you're traumatized. I'm not really sure. Um, but even though nothing traumatic to my knowledge is happening right now, I'm still really depressed. And I don't know, does that count as chemical? Like, I just don't really understand like the difference. Like, if it's environmental, if it's chemical, would meds still help both? Like, I don't know. And whenever I try to talk to a psychiatrist, they're just like, well, it seems like you've tried everything and it didn't work. And it's like, yeah, but what other option do I have? Are you sure that there's nothing else? And the last psychiatrist that I had an intake with was like, you need to find a psychiatrist that specializes in DID since you have that. And I was like, yeah, but I can't find one. And I don't know. She gave me the name of this place that is supposed to specialize in dissociative disorders and like help with talk therapy and psychiatry and other things I can't remember. But it costs a lot of money to go there. Like, money I can't afford. Apparently, like the first 30 days of treatment, it's like outpatient, but it's intensive, are like 5K to $17,000, depending on like, I guess, what things you add on a la carte. Like, I'm just, I just feel like really discouraged. It's like, okay, I got this condition that I didn't even want and I didn't deserve because other people had really bad behavior towards me. And now I just can't not be depressed. That doesn't sound right. Um, I don't know, I just get very resentful and upset because it's like now I have this lifetime, it feels like, of I have one good day and then I have to talk to my headmates and they have to tell me horrible stuff that happened to them during traumatic periods of our life because they want to be heard, and I have to listen to them if I want us to work together and have functional multiplicity, because we are not functional at this moment. We're trying, but it's so strenuous and I'm so depressed anyway, and then I have to hear like, oh, our ex-husband was worse than you thought, and then it's just like, I wanted to do something today. Like, I wanted to talk to friends or like do something that makes me feel good because I feel so bad all of the time. And then I get like that news and like, yeah, I know it's probably you got to get worse before you get better, step in the right direction, I hope, but it's dysregulating, and I kind of just lie in bed after that and I process it and I cry. And um, there's like another thing on my mind that I've wanted to talk about. So, like, I was adopted by my parents. So, like, when I talk about my parents, I'm talking about the people who adopted me as an infant. When I refer to, like, um, when I say bio mom, I mean, like, the woman that birthed me, that my parents adopted me from. So, like, I was adopted as an infant by my parents, and um, originally it was an open adoption, and I had contact with my bio mom through phone calls, and she would send me like letters in the mail. But I could never read her handwriting because it was like cursive and messy. But yeah, so my mom would like read it to me. I always felt really confused about my bio mom like giving me away. I thought that it meant that there was something wrong with me and that I was defective, and that's why I couldn't be with her. Because like when I was younger, things with my parents, they weren't awesome. And so I'd always dream of like being with my bio mom. I'd think it would, I just think that it would have been so much better. Now I know it wouldn't have been, probably, but I needed like that escape when I was younger. And um, she like, when I was 13, I found out, well, it wasn't when I was 13. Sorry, my brain is getting scrambled because dissociation. When I was 13, I went to visit my bio mom in Kentucky, and this was the first time that I had ever seen her in person. And um, I don't remember much of it, but I think it was good. And then I went back home with my parents and my sister, and then I lost contact with my bio mom. Her name's Morgan, by the way. Um, and I really like, I missed her, but I didn't know where she went, and I thought about her a lot. And then when I was 21, I was getting ready to go to a summer camp. And I know maybe that's weird to go to a summer camp when you're 21 years old. It was like this queer camp for like kids and young adults in Vermont. And I was really excited to go. And just before I was going, I was thinking about my biological half sister Autumn, who had always heard so much about from like my parents and also my bio mom, and also from my half brother, like when I visited like Paducah, Kentucky, like when I was 13. And oh, I'm sorry, my ex is calling me.